This podcast is dedicated to fighter aircraft. Fighter aircraft is something which is very important in the defense of a country. At the beginning, it was only an aircraft designed for air to air combat. But after that period, we realized what? That it was important to have an air superiority in the battle space and not only in the battlefield. And it was important to have new tools totally different from those of the First World War. But after the Second War, it was so important, and specifically due to the Pacific theater, but also, of course, to the European one, to have innovations and to have many different types of fighter aircrafts. So it was the beginning of the notion of interceptor, of heavy fighter, and of course, night fighter. The combination was already at that time a tactical level, but also a strategic bombing related, of course, to the enemy targets. The difference between the tactical level and the strategical level is not only due to the speed of the aircraft, but also to its range and, of course, the duration of the mission. But we do not have to forget what the highest level of the aircraft when it is in mission. So we can say that those three magical numbers, I mean, the speed measured in Mach and the range, but also the maximal altitude, can define the role of the strategic fighters and also the fighter aircraft. So let's imagine that we have some examples to understand what we mean with those observations is when we are talking about the F-16 in relation to the F-15 or F-14 or F-22 or 35, we have to bear in mind that the all-weather aircraft is a very important notion related to the robustness, and that is not just a point of efficiency. For example, F-16 is a very efficient aircraft, but not so robust as, for example, F-15. Another example, maybe as a very robust aircraft, is of course the F-4. But now we are talking also about the stealth dimension, the digital dimension of the aircraft. And this is more related, of course, to F-35, for example. We need also to talk about the ratio between the thirst and the width to understand not only the role of the aircraft, but also the choice between the tasks. All this combination reminds us also the same problem with the tanks and the aircraft, but now with the fighter aircraft and the war boat. So, for example, the frigate. The idea is to combine the two weapons at the first time on the ground and on the air, in the second time in the air and on the sea. And this combination creates a strategic mix, which is not only very efficient, but also very robust in many situations, and of course, in all weather situations. So, if we want to see how the air defense should be done, we should think that the different elements, I mean, the earth, the air, and the water, should be combined to see the battlefield and the battle space together in a more complete vision of the war. For that, we need speed, we need fire, and we need, of course, resistance. For all that reasons, the fighter aircraft is a key. Why? Because with its speed, it can make the relation between the earth and the sea, it can connect two different fields, and with its help, it's possible to have the big picture, the vision of the ground, of the sea, and the space due to the air as an holistic approach. And this is the difference between the classical approach and the new one, because we are not talking about different weapons in different fields, but more about the connection between those different weapons and how an attack or even a defense can be articulated with those tools in one global way. That's the new point of view of war. And in this new point of view, the fighter aircraft is a key notion.